A very warm welcome to all. Today, I, Ria Khanna, a legal intern under Lexis and Company, am here to explain my topic, Role of Judiciary in Promoting ADR. This particular video that you are viewing is part 2 of this particular topic. Before moving on with this video, let us understand what we actually understood in the previous video. So in the previous video, I gave an introduction that why India needs ADR and what does ADR, alternate dispute resolution, actually means, how it is different from the traditional court system which was established by the Britishers in India. Then we understood that why is there need of ADR in India, because of the overburdened court. The conventional court system is time consuming, it is expensive, it is a technical process, low ratio of judges to the population, and many other reasons as well. Further, we also heard what late first Attorney General of India had addressed the speech in to the Bar Association of India. And further, we also understood what Justice R.C. Lahoti also observed in a particular case. Further, now in this particular video, we shall be understanding the need of alternative dispute resolution in the administration of justice in a better detailed manner through case laws. So, contribution of alternative dispute resolution in the administrative of justice. So, let us understand a few case laws. The first case law that I shall be talking about is in Sundaram Finance Limited versus NEPC India Limited, All India Record 1999. In this particular case, the court explicitly made it clear that the 1996 Act is very much different from the Act of 1940. The provisions made in the Act of 1940 lead to some misconstruction, and so the Act of 1996 was enacted, or rather repealed. In order to get help in constructing these provisions made in Act of 1996, it is more relevant to refer to the UNCITRAL model law besides the Act of 1996, rather than following the provisions of the Act of 1940. The second case that we will be talking about is in Grid Corporation of Orissa versus Indian Charge Chrome Limited, All India Record 1998. In this particular case, Section 37, Clause 1 of the Indian Electricity Act 1910 provides for arbitration by the Commission or its nominee any dispute arising between the licensees or in respect of matters provided under Section 33. The Odisha High Court held that Section 7 of the Arbitration Act 1996 would apply to the present case in view of the fact that the scope of Arbitration Act is very wide, and it not only contains arbitration agreements in writing but also other agreements as mentioned in subsection 4. It also held that if there is any arbitration agreement in any other enactment for the time being in force, that is statutory agreement, provisions of the Arbitration Act 1996 shall apply except subsection 1 of section 40 and section 41 and 43. The third case that we shall be talking about is the Supreme Court case of Baba Ali petitioner versus Union of India and others, All India Record 1999. In this case, the act was challenged on the ground that under the Act of 1996, the question of jurisdiction of arbitrator can only be considered by the appropriate court after the award is passed and not any penultimate stage. The Delhi High Court rejected this particular plea. Against this decision, a special leave petition, also known as an SLP, was filed in the Supreme Court. Further, the Supreme Court of India dismissed the SLP again and held that there is no question of Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 being unconstitutional or in any way offending the basic structure of the Constitution of India. As the High Court has rightly observed that judicial review is available for challenging the award in accordance with the procedure laid down therein. The time and manner of judicial scrutiny can legitimately be laid down by the act passed by the Parliament. In the fourth case, Hasmukh Lal H. Doshi versus Justice M.L. Pendse, All India Record 2001, Section 12, Section 12 only deals with preferential challenges and not challenges arising in court of tribunal proceedings, was quoted by the court. Rejecting the contentions, the Bombay High Court observed that Section 12, Clause 2 incorporates the words, I quote, throughout the arbitral proceedings, unquote, and therefore Section 12 cannot be restricted to pre-reference challenges alone. The fifth case is ITC Classic Finance Limited versus Grapio Mining and Company Limited, All India Record 1997. In this, the court stated that arbitration clause in a contract provided for, I quote, sole arbitration of a person appointed by, unquote. It was held by the Calcutta High Court that neither Section 11 Clause 5 nor 11 Clause 6 are relevant. The arbitration clause was held to be vague and uncertain. In Sri Venkateshwara Construction Company versus Union of India, All India Record 2001, Andhra Pradesh High Court in an application filed under Section 11 referred to the provisions of Section 10, subsection 1 and subsection 2 and held that after a close reading of the aforesaid provision, it clearly shows that the parties are free to determine the numbers of arbitrators, but such numbers shall not be an even number. Subsection 2 further provides that if the parties fail to provide for an odd number of arbitrators, then the arbitral tribunal shall be constituted by the sole arbitrator. Further, in the last case, in Orient Paper Mills versus Civil Judge Clause, Civil Judge All India Record 2003, the court permitted the surmounting of the chairman of arbitral tribunal as a witness. The application was made under Article 226 and 227 of the Constitution for a direction to the civil judge for issuing summons. The award was submitted by the tribunal. It rejected the claim with a full statement of reasons. The ground on which the chairman was sought to be summoned was that the tribunal considered certain documents behind the back of the party. The court said that this ground, if established, would have enabled the party to get the remedy of setting aside. In the presence of such a clear remedy, there was hardly any need for summoning the arbitrator as a witness. Now, I would like to conclude this video and this topic by saying that India is a welfare state, which entails that the three organs of the government are supposed to work in consonance to ensure that the welfare of the citizens is the top priority to be fulfilled. In the Indian context, a country so divided, the judiciary plays the important role out of the three organs of the government. While the legislature makes laws and executive makes sure that the implementation of the same and operations of the country run smooth, judiciary steps in case of any hiccup and has proved with examples of present and past that it plays the role of a guardian and the protector whenever the organs overreach their powers. Justice is the foundation and object of any civilized society. The quest for justice has been an ideal which mankind has been inspiring for generations down the line. Dispute resolution is one of the major functions of Indian judiciary and is an important factor for a stable society. Thank you so much.